Hello friends. Have you ever wondered what truly happens when a Libra steps into the sacred space of marriage, what transforms inside them, what they offer, what they fear, and what kind of lifelong partner they ultimately become? Why does this sign, ruled by Venus and driven by harmony, seem to treat marriage not just as a commitment, but as a carefully crafted emotional masterpiece? Today, we're diving deep into the soul of Libra in the aspect of marriage, exploring their strengths, challenges, romantic nature, ideal business partners, and the subtle shadows behind their elegance, all through a rich, thoughtful, and character-driven lens. After watching, if you'd like to support the channel, click the Thanks button right under this video or use the donation alerts link in the description. Your support really helps me keep creating. And of course, if you enjoy the content, please give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks so much for being here. Now let's continue. The heart of a Libra, love as an art form. To understand Libra in marriage at a deeper, truer, more nuanced level, you must go far beyond the simple idea that they love beautifully. That's only the surface. The real essence of Libra in a lifelong union is a careful orchestration of emotional symmetry, an intentional shaping of connection, and a devotion to partnership that resembles an artist working on a canvas they never truly consider finished. A Libra doesn't simply fall in love, they design the entire emotional architecture of the relationship with the quiet intensity of a perfectionist who sees partnership not as a coincidence of two hearts, but as an ongoing creative act. They don't just appreciate romance, they cultivate it like a living garden, pruning away negativity, adorning the ordinary with small gestures, and subtly shaping the emotional climate of the household with the precision of someone who believes beauty is not a luxury, but a necessity for the soul's equilibrium. In marriage, Libra has a rare blend of idealism and practicality. They carry a vision of what love could be, balanced, respectful, harmonious, but they're not disconnected from reality. They know relationships require effort, patience, and continual recalibration. Still, their baseline belief is unwavering. Two people, if they choose grace over ego and softness over stubbornness, can cultivate a life that feels not just stable, but aesthetically meaningful. Libra wants to come home to a relationship that feels like a well-lit room, open, clear, inviting, with enough emotional space for both partners to breathe and enough warmth to make every shared moment feel intentional. And this is the part most signs fail to grasp. Libra doesn't chase harmony because it's pleasant, they chase it because it's a form of truth for them. Just as some people need intellectual stimulation or emotional depth, Libra needs the environment to be balanced, fair, and emotionally breathable. Disharmony feels like static to their inner world, an uncomfortable noise that disrupts their sense of safety, connection, and internal order. They will go to remarkable lengths to restore equilibrium, smoothing tension with humor, redirecting conflict with grace, and offering empathy even when their own feelings are tangled. Their kindness isn't passivity, it's an intentional act, a choice that requires energy and emotional intelligence. A Libra spouse brings into the marriage an unspoken, almost sacred promise, to elevate the partnership into something that feels beautifully lived. They notice the tone of conversations, the rhythm of shared routines, the atmosphere of the home. They want gentle mornings, respectful disagreements, laughter that softens the edges of the day, and a steady emotional climate where both partners feel valued. Libra is the sign that remembers the way you said something, not just what you said. They recall details that feel insignificant to others. The cadence of your voice during a difficult moment, the way your eyes shift when you're thinking, the tiny habits that reveal who you really are. And because they notice, they adjust. They respond, they refine. But beneath this poetic, curated, sentimental exterior lies something far more fragile and human. Libra's romantic artistry is built on a heart that bruises easily. Their longing for harmony comes from a deep internal fear, the fear of disappointing the person they love, of failing to maintain the delicate balance that makes the relationship feel like home. They are often far more sensitive than they let on, absorbing moods, sensing tension before it's spoken, feeling guilt for conflicts they didn't cause. Their desire to make everything beautiful isn't superficial. it's an instinctive attempt to create emotional safety for themselves and their partner. When a Libra says they want peace, what they often mean is, "I want us to feel safe together." This vulnerability shapes how they love. Libra listens before they speak, weighs thoughts before expressing them, and tries to phrase even their frustrations in a way that won't wound the person they care for. Their diplomacy is not a performance, it's emotional craftsmanship. And because they put so much effort into harmony, they silently hope their partner recognizes the labor behind their softness. They hope the other person sees how much thought goes into each calm conversation, how much restraint hides behind each gentle compromise, how much heart stands behind every effort to keep things balanced. In marriage, Libra's commitment reaches far beyond vows. They commit to the quality of connection. They commit to showing up as their best self, even on days when it feels exhausting. They commit to fairness and equality, believing that love collapses when one person carries too much weight alone. Libra's idea of loyalty isn't just fidelity. They define loyalty as a shared dedication to keeping the relationship emotionally alive, responsive, and respectful. They are not content with transactional affection or surface-level gestures. They want genuine partnership, where both people contribute to the beauty of the bond. Still, this pursuit of harmony can sometimes feel like a double-edged sword. When Libra senses disruption, they may internalize it. They may blame themselves even when they aren't at fault. Their sensitivity, so much a part of their charm, can also become a hidden burden. They often fear confrontation not because they're weak, but because conflict feels like shattering glass. One wrong move, one careless word, and the delicate emotional balance they work so hard to maintain could break. This fear makes them cautious, thoughtful, sometimes overly accommodating. And yet, even when they bend, they rarely break. Libra's resilience is quiet but profound. They recalibrate, recenter, and return with the intention to make things right once again. Ultimately, the heart of a Libra in marriage is both gentle and intricate. They bring beauty not as decoration, but as emotional architecture. They love with intention, with intelligence, with a sincerity that wraps itself around the relationship like soft light. They curate harmony not because they fear difficulty, but because they believe deeply, perhaps more than any other sign, that love is worth shaping, nurturing, and protecting. To love a Libra is to witness a soul that chooses grace even when wounded, balance even when challenged, connection even when unsure. And to marry a Libra is to be invited into a lifelong masterpiece, one they will continue sculpting with devotion, tenderness, and a quiet desire to make the shared life as beautiful as humanly possible. Communication, the gentle architecture of partnership. Libra's communication within marriage is not simply a skill, it is the quiet infrastructure that holds their entire relationship together. To understand how a Libra speaks, listens, reacts, and reveals themselves, you must imagine an architect designing a structure made entirely of invisible materials: tone, attentiveness, timing, and emotional awareness. Communication for Libra is never accidental. They consider it the most essential element of partnership, the primary tool that turns two individuals into a shared unit. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to maintain equilibrium, to repair subtle cracks, to reinforce mutual respect, or to create a moment of closeness that becomes woven into the daily life of the marriage. A Libra spouse approaches communication with a rare combination of softness and thoughtfulness. They weigh every word before offering it. They consider how it might land, what it might evoke, and whether it will build peace or unintentionally stir emotional static. It's not that they rehearse conversations, it's that they feel responsible for the emotional environment the conversation creates. They listen actively, not just to the words spoken but to the breath between sentences, the shift in emotion, the hint of insecurity, the tremor of exhaustion, the subtle signs their partner might not even consciously notice in themselves. A Libra can sense when something is off long before the issue is articulated, and their natural instinct is to draw the truth out gently, without pressure, without accusation, without the sharp edges that make people shut down. In difficult or emotionally charged conversations, Libra behaves with an almost artistic restraint. They rarely, almost never, raise their voice. They understand instinctively that volume crushes vulnerability. Their goal is always clarity without cruelty, honesty without emotional bruising. Even when upset, they choose sentences shaped with care. Their anger is often delivered like a whisper wrapped in logic, because they fear that words said in haste leave long-lasting fractures in the relationship's foundation. To Libra, the emotional climate of a conversation matters as much as the issue itself. They want a space where both people can speak without fear, where vulnerability doesn't feel like a risk, where honesty is not a weapon but a bridge. Yet this refined diplomacy comes with complexities and shadows. Libra's careful weighing of every word can sometimes turn into hesitation. When a situation requires swift decision-making, addressing a sudden problem, responding to an emotional crisis, making a choice with incomplete information, Libra often freezes. It isn't because they don't care, it's because they care too much. They want to pick the decision that benefits both partners equally. They want the outcome to be fair, considered, harmonious. But life is rarely patient, and marriage often demands choices made in real time, with imperfect clarity. Libra's partner may feel frustration in those moments, perceiving the pause as avoidance or emotional distance when it is actually anxiety about choosing wrongly, hurting unintentionally, or tipping the scale off balance. This hesitation also stems from Libra's unique internal scale, a psychological equilibrium where logic and emotion weigh the same. Unlike signs that prioritize feeling over reason or reason over feeling, Libra considers both simultaneously, and they refuse to move forward until the internal scale settles. They may spend hours thinking about tone, intention, consequences, or how a particular sentence will affect the atmosphere of the relationship. This reflective nature, while beautiful, can be misunderstood by partners who equate love with immediate response or decisive action. And yet, when Libra finally speaks openly, when they stop filtering, stop balancing, stop protecting their partner from the storm of their inner world, something extraordinary happens. Their honesty arrives softly but powerfully, like a long-delayed confession that carries more truth than a month's worth of surface-level peace. In these rare, luminous moments, a Libra's vulnerability becomes a gift, not dramatic, not overwhelming, but profoundly sincere. Each word they finally let out has been shaped by thought, emotion, and deep introspection. They reveal their fears, their hopes, their insecurities, their disappointments, and their unspoken needs with a kind of emotional craftsmanship that makes their partner feel trusted, chosen, invited into a private inner chamber seldom shown to the world. These moments of raw sincerity can change the course of a marriage. The partner finally sees the emotional work Libra performs behind the scenes, the silent balancing, the careful thinking, the ongoing effort to maintain harmony without sacrificing truth. The air becomes clearer, the relationship deepens, misunderstandings dissolve, and the bond between them strengthens in a way no quiet peace could ever achieve. But for this to happen, the partner must understand a fundamental truth: Libra's communication is not passive. It is intentional, complex, loving, and built on a genuine desire to create harmony without sacrificing depth. They do not avoid conflict because they are weak. They avoid conflict because they feel the emotional cost more intensely than others. They do not hesitate because they are indecisive. They hesitate because they want fairness, balance, and clarity in a world that rarely offers any of those things neatly packaged. They do not speak softly because they fear confrontation. They speak softly because they respect the power of words and understand that wounds delivered through speech often linger longer than they should. Libra's style of communication becomes the emotional architecture of the marriage, the quiet foundation that makes the home feel safe, calm, and humane. They build this architecture with consistency, thoughtfulness, and a kind of emotional intelligence that is felt rather than announced. Their partner may sometimes forget how much effort goes into keeping conversations balanced, poised, and open. But if they listen closely, they will hear the artistry in Libra's pauses, the compassion in their phrasing, the patience in their tone, and the devotion in their consistency. To love a Libra is to enter a lifelong dialogue, one shaped by gentle honesty, deliberate understanding, and an unwavering desire to create a relationship where both hearts feel equally valued. Their communication is not merely speech, it is an emotional sanctuary they construct day by day, conversation by conversation, with a dedication that becomes the invisible scaffolding of a harmonious marriage. Romance and intimacy, the soft flame. Libra carries romance the way some people carry breath, naturally, continuously, almost unconsciously, yet with a presence that fills every corner of the marriage. To be loved by a Libra is to live inside a gentle atmosphere of affection, where emotional warmth is not an event but a climate they cultivate with devotion. Romance to Libra is not a performance or a phase, it is a language, a philosophy, a way of shaping the shared life so that both partners feel held, appreciated, and quietly adored. Their gestures are never grand for the sake of spectacle, they are intentional, tender, and deeply attuned to the subtle emotional needs of the relationship. A Libra spouse creates romance through details. They light candles not for drama but because soft light calms the heart. They place a hand on your shoulder when the day feels heavy because touch is their way of saying, "You are not alone here." They offer compliments that feel effortless because they see beauty everywhere, in your face, in your voice, in your small habits, in the way you exist beside them. Romance for Libra is less about scripted moments and more about cultivating a relationship that feels consistently elevated, softened, and lovingly framed. They want the marriage to feel like a refuge, a space where tenderness is not rationed but freely woven into everyday life. Even in the simplest routines, Libra finds opportunities to infuse warmth. A morning coffee becomes an act of devotion when they bring it with a smile that says they've been thinking of you. A quiet evening becomes intimate when they sit a little closer, listen a little deeper, laugh a little more softly. They pay attention to emotional textures, your tone when you're tired, your silence when you're overwhelmed, the spark in your eyes when something delights you. And because they notice, they respond. They create romance not from obligation but from a genuine desire to make the marriage feel alive, expressive, and emotionally rich. Their intimacy is a continuation of this gentleness. Libra approaches closeness with patience and emotional intelligence, understanding instinctively that true intimacy cannot be rushed, demanded, or taken for granted. It must be nurtured through trust, safety, and mutual respect. They want connection that feels shared and reciprocal, where both hearts meet in a space free from pressure or expectation. Libra intuitively knows that intimacy is not only a physical act, it is a conversation without words, a merging of emotional energies, a moment where two people feel understood before they speak. This is why they savor every layer of connection. They pay attention to your reactions, your comfort, your mood. They approach closeness like an artist who studies subtle details, not to analyze but to appreciate. They map the emotional landscape slowly, learning what brings you warmth, what brings you calm, what brings you joy. And once they discover these tender places, they return to them with consistency and care, understanding that intimacy deepens through familiarity, trust, and thoughtful repetition. But the same sensitivity that makes Libra such a profound romantic also creates their greatest emotional challenge. Their desire for ideal affection, soft, mutual, responsive, beautiful, can set standards that even they struggle to maintain. Libra longs for a connection where each partner gives and receives with equal openness. They imagine a relationship where affection flows naturally, where emotional presence is mutual, where intimacy feels like a shared poem written line by line over years. When reality deviates from this ideal, when the partner becomes distant, preoccupied, or emotionally unavailable, Libra feels the absence with a sting that cuts deeper than they show. They are masters of masking hurt with a polite smile, of carrying disappointment behind graceful expressions, of hiding loneliness beneath gentle conversation. They will say, "Everything is fine," even when their heart feels neglected, not because they want to lie, but because they fear burdening the relationship with conflict or appearing needy. Libra would rather maintain temporary peace than risk emotional chaos, even if silence costs them more than they admit. This creates a dangerous but deeply human pattern. Libra retreats quietly. They withdraw into themselves with soft steps, hoping the partner will notice the subtle shift. They try harder, offering more affection, more warmth, more understanding, even when they feel emotionally drained. They pretend the equilibrium is still there, telling themselves the distance is temporary, that the marriage will naturally return to harmony. They hold their hurt as gently as they hold their love, pressing it into the quiet corners of their heart where they think no one will notice. But emotional weight has a way of accumulating. And when Libra finally reaches the point where they can no longer carry this hurt alone, their honesty arrives with a depth and clarity that can change everything. Their confession is not an outburst or accusation, it is a release, slow and sincere, like opening a door that has been locked for too long. They reveal the quiet moments when they felt unseen. They speak of the nights when they offered tenderness and received silence. They admit how deeply they long for mutual affection, for emotional reciprocity, for a romance that doesn't feel one-sided. These moments of emotional truth can be profound enough to reshape the marriage. They create a turning point where the partner finally understands that Libra's softness is not an infinite resource, it requires nourishment, recognition, and return. They realize that Libra's gentle flame, though warm and welcoming, can flicker when neglected. And in witnessing this vulnerability, many partners experience a shift, a deeper appreciation for the quiet devotion Libra gives so freely, and a renewed commitment to meeting them with equal warmth. For Libra, romance and intimacy are not luxuries, they are the heartbeat of the marriage. They keep the love alive not through dramatic gestures, but through consistent emotional presence, thoughtful attentiveness, and a dedication to maintaining beauty in the connection. They love with a soft flame, one that glows steadily, warmly, continuously. Yet even a soft flame needs tending. Even the gentlest heart needs reassurance. Even the most graceful lover needs to feel chosen in return. To be loved by a Libra is to experience a romance that feels like art, delicate, expressive, intentional. But to love a Libra well is to recognize the emotional labor behind their tenderness, to respond to their softness with presence, and to return their devotion with sincerity. Only then does the soft flame burn steadily, illuminating the marriage with warmth that lasts across years, seasons, and the quiet evolution of two intertwined lives. Conflict and challenges, the battle they avoid, but never escape. Libra's relationship with conflict inside a marriage is one of the most intricate, misunderstood, and emotionally charged aspects of their personality. To grasp how deeply this affects their partnership, you must understand that a Libra does not simply dislike conflict, they experience it as an internal dissonance that rattles the very architecture of their emotional world. Where other signs might confront tension directly or even thrive on the catharsis of a heated argument, Libra feels every ripple of discord like a tuning fork struck too hard. Their instinct is to soften the blow, smooth the edges, and create distance from anything that threatens the harmony they work tirelessly to preserve. They avoid conflict not because they're timid or passive but because emotional disharmony hits them with a kind of sensory overwhelm that is hard for others to imagine. Inside marriage, this avoidance becomes both their self-defense mechanism and their Achilles heel. A Libra spouse can sense the early whispers of tension long before their partner even acknowledges the problem. The shift in tone, the silence that stretches a little too long, the subtle changes in body language, these cues hit Libra with pinpoint precision. And before the issue grows teeth, they begin their quiet work, joking to lighten the mood, intellectualizing to diffuse emotional heat, redirecting conversations toward safer ground, or offering gentle rationalizations to calm the waters. They try to maintain harmony the way a conductor manages an orchestra, through subtle direction rather than force. But marriage, in its raw humanity, refuses to remain perpetually serene. Sooner or later, every relationship encounters the unavoidable moment when something must be said, confronted, or changed. For Libra, these moments feel like small emotional earthquakes. They know confrontation is necessary, they're not naive, but they dread the emotional noise it will generate, the possibility of hurting their partner, the fear of saying something that might linger like a bruise. So they delay, they think, they reshape their thoughts into softer versions. They tell themselves, maybe it will fix itself. They try to substitute diplomacy for truth, hoping peace can be maintained without walking into the fire. But tension, when suppressed, does not evaporate. Libra begins to store these small unspoken grievances the way dust collects on a shelf, one layer at a time, barely noticeable, until suddenly it becomes heavy enough to see. They don't intend to accumulate resentment, but their desire to protect the relationship from conflict creates a quiet backlog of unresolved emotion. What looks like avoidance from the outside is actually fear wrapped inside compassion. They want to spare both themselves and their partner from emotional discomfort, even at the cost of their own internal balance. Yet when the moment finally comes, when Libra is pushed into a corner where silence becomes more painful than truth, something astonishing happens. Their transformation is subtle but striking. The same person who tiptoed around conflict with softness and humor now speaks with clarity so sharp it cuts through weeks or months of emotional fog. Their calm tone remains, but the content becomes direct, precise, and deeply thought out. Libra fights not with volume but with logic sharpened by emotional intelligence. They state facts, feelings, timelines, patterns. Their words are measured but powerful, like a surgeon's blade, not intended to wound, but to remove what has been poisoning the relationship. This shift often shocks their partner. Many assume Libra's gentleness means they avoid confrontation because they have nothing to say, or that the absence of anger equals the absence of deeper emotion. But when Libra finally opens their emotional vault, it becomes evident that they had been thinking, feeling, noticing, and processing everything long before speaking. Their arguments are structured, balanced, layered with fairness, and rooted in a desire for mutual understanding, never domination. They don't aim to win, because victory means nothing to Libra if it destabilizes the harmony they treasure. What they seek is restoration, resolution, a return to emotional clarity. But the danger lies not in Libra's ability to argue. They argue with grace and precision, but in the long silence that precedes the argument. By waiting too long, Libra unintentionally allows problems to grow larger than necessary. Issues that could have been small conversations turn into emotional landslides. The weight of accumulated grievances makes their eventual honesty feel overwhelming, even if delivered gently. Partners may feel blindsided, confused, or even betrayed, wondering why Libra endured discomfort in silence instead of sharing earlier. Libra themselves often feel guilty afterward, wishing they had found the courage to speak sooner, frustrated that their fear of conflict made the confrontation bigger than it needed to be. When the dust settles, however, something profound happens. Because Libra never enters battle with the intention to harm, their vulnerability during conflict becomes a powerful turning point in the marriage. Their honesty, raw, intelligent, emotionally articulate, invites understanding rather than division. It creates the potential for deeper emotional intimacy, for mutual growth, for rebuilding the foundation in a more authentic way. Libra does not fight to break the relationship, they fight to heal it. Every argument, no matter how difficult, ends with a desire for closeness. When they raise concerns, they also reach for solutions. When they express hurt, they offer empathy in return. When they criticize, they do so with fairness, acknowledging their own flaws alongside their partners. This is the key to understanding Libra in conflict. Their heart stays soft even when their words sharpen. They hold their partner's dignity in one hand and their own truth in the other, trying desperately not to crush either. Their intention is never destruction. Their intention is always preservation. They fight to regain balance, not to establish dominance. They confront not to punish, but to reconnect. They argue not because they want to win, but because they want peace that is real, not performative. Libra's greatest challenge in marriage is learning that harmony without honesty is not harmony at all. It's silence dressed in elegance. And the partner's greatest responsibility is recognizing that Libra's avoidance is not disinterest but fear wrapped in devotion. When both understand this, conflict becomes less of a battlefield and more of a bridge, a way to strengthen, clarify, and deepen the union. Optimal signs for business partnerships with Libra. Although marriage is the heart of our exploration, understanding Libra's behavior in business partnerships is essential, because the qualities that make them extraordinary spouses, diplomacy, fairness, emotional intelligence, aesthetic sensibility, and instinctive collaboration, also make them exceptional partners in professional settings. Libra does not enter a business relationship casually. To them, cooperation is an energetic exchange, a shared structure built on trust, communication, and balanced contribution. They approach joint ventures with the same delicacy and intentionality they bring into marriage, seeking not only success, but harmony in the process of achieving it. For Libra, how you build something is just as important as what you build. In business, Libra thrives when they are not forced to carry emotional or strategic weight alone. They excel in environments where ideas flow freely, where discussions are open, where decisions are made collaboratively rather than through unilateral force. Their natural inclination is to refine, adjust, negotiate, and elevate. They take raw ideas and turn them into polished plans. They smooth interpersonal friction before it disrupts progress. They anticipate obstacles not by panicking, but by understanding the personalities involved and adjusting strategy with a tactician subtlety. Libra's mind is always scanning for balance, between profit and ethics, creativity and practicality, speed and quality, ambition and collaboration. This is why certain signs become powerful professional complements to Libra. They provide what Libra needs emotionally and intellectually while absorbing many of the pressures that would otherwise overwhelm them. The dynamic is not hierarchical but synergistic. Each brings strengths the other naturally amplifies. Gemini is one of the most effortless business partners Libra can find. Their flexibility, creativity, and mental agility align beautifully with Libra's need for fluidity and intellectual stimulation. Gemini generates ideas with rapid-fire brilliance, often producing 5 concepts in the time it takes another sign to form one. But ideas alone are sparks. Libra turns those sparks into structured fire. They refine Gemini's mental whirlwind into streamlined proposals, persuasive presentations, or elegant strategies. Where Gemini leaps, Libra balances. Where Gemini talks, Libra negotiates. Where Gemini improvises, Libra perfects. Together, their communication becomes a force of nature, smooth, charming, adaptive, and impossible to dismiss. Clients feel heard, partners feel valued, projects feel both exciting and grounded. In this pairing, Gemini fuels momentum while Libra ensures direction. The result is a partnership that feels not only productive but intellectually exhilarating. Aquarius, on the other hand, brings a very different, but equally powerful, dynamic. Aquarian energy is visionary, strategic, and infused with a sense of mission. They think years ahead, often seeing trends before they exist, needs before they emerge, and opportunities before they're visible. Aquarius provides the direction of a lighthouse, bold, innovative, future-oriented, while Libra becomes the bridge that translates these visions into workable realities. Aquarius pushes boundaries, Libra negotiates the human landscape required to make innovation sustainable. Aquarius energizes the relationship with purpose, Libra softens their edges, bringing diplomacy, charm, and relational intelligence to the table. Together, they create partnerships that lead movements, launch unique ventures, or establish businesses with a social conscience. Aquarius conceptualizes change, Libra executes it with elegance. These partnerships succeed because they mirror the same qualities that define Libra in marriage: fairness, thoughtful communication, and a desire for mutual contribution. Libra does not thrive in environments where one partner dominates, where communication breaks down, where emotional imbalance festers, or where decisions are dictated rather than discussed. They require professional relationships built on respect, where each person's voice carries weight, where ideas are welcomed rather than dismissed, where disagreements are addressed logically instead of emotionally, and where collaboration is a rhythm rather than a battle. This is not because Libra is fragile, but because their brilliance shines brightest in spaces where balance is possible. When they feel safe and respected, they express creativity freely, negotiate brilliantly, mediate conflicts effortlessly, and inspire others through poise rather than pressure. Their charm becomes an asset, not a shield. Their refinement becomes strength, not hesitation. Their diplomacy becomes strategy, not passivity. Libra's true power emerges when they feel valued, not exploited. The beauty of Libra's business partnerships with Gemini and Aquarius lies in the way they reflect Libra's marriage dynamics. Libra seeks professional connections the same way they seek romantic ones, through alignment of values, communication, shared goals, and mutual benefit. They want to build something that feels meaningful. They want to work in harmony, not chaos. They want to grow with their partner rather than compete against them. The success of the work matters, but the quality of the partnership matters more. And just like in marriage, once Libra commits to a professional union, they bring consistency, loyalty, patience, and an ability to elevate every project they touch. They mediate disagreements with fairness. They advocate for balance. They listen deeply. They encourage others to express themselves. They transform tension into cooperation. And in doing so, they create environments where innovation and harmony coexist, a rare and powerful combination. Libra's ideal business partnerships are not simply productive. They are symphonies of thought, expression, and shared purpose. They succeed because the people involved bring out the best in each other, amplifying strengths and smoothing weaknesses. Gemini lights the spark. Libra shapes it. Aquarius dreams the impossible. Libra translates it into reality. Together, these pairings don't just build businesses, they build legacies rooted in communication, fairness, and a vision of success as a shared experience rather than a solitary pursuit. Negative traits in marriage, the shadows behind the charm. For all the grace and gentleness that Libra brings into marriage, their charm casts shadows that, if left unattended, can quietly complicate the foundation of the relationship. These shadows aren't signs of malice or immaturity, they are the natural counterweights to Libra's desire for beauty, balance, and harmony. Every strength has an underside, and for Libra, that underside is woven from their sensitivity, their longing for peace, and their fear of emotional chaos. To love a Libra deeply is to understand not only their elegance, but also the tremors beneath it, the insecurities, the hesitations, the protective masks they wear even with the person they adore. These traits do not define them, but they shape the emotional terrain of the marriage, creating challenges that require understanding rather than criticism. Indecisiveness lies at the core of Libra's internal struggle. They want so desperately to choose wisely, to avoid causing harm, tension, or imbalance, that even simple decisions can become emotional labyrinths. When marriage requires choices about moving to a new city, merging finances, planning children, investing in a home, or taking a career risk, Libra may freeze. They hesitate not because they lack opinion, but because every option carries a possible consequence, and Libra's mind begins weighing those possibilities with near-obsessive thoroughness. They imagine how each choice will affect the partnership, the atmosphere of the relationship, the emotional comfort of both individuals. They think in ripples rather than straight lines. What seems like delay to their partner feels, to Libra, like a moral responsibility, to choose the path that disrupts the emotional ecosystem the least. And yet, the longer they wait, the more the pressure builds, creating tension that could have been avoided with earlier honesty. Their heart wants harmony, but their silence sometimes creates the very disharmony they fear. People-pleasing is another shadow that runs so deep in Libra's relational DNA that they often don't see it themselves. Libra wants everyone happy, their spouse, their family, their friends, even acquaintances who barely matter. But in marriage, this instinct becomes a double-edged sword. They compromise too much. They say, yes, when they mean, I'm exhausted, I'm hurt, or, I disagree. They adapt to their partner's preferences, habits, and moods so seamlessly that the partner may mistakenly believe Libra is always content. But beneath this fluid adaptability lies the quiet erosion of their own needs. They bend themselves into shapes that feel sustainable at first, accommodating, flexible, agreeable, until one day they wake up emotionally depleted, wondering why their own desires feel muted or irrelevant. Their partner, unaware of the sacrifices Libra has silently made, may feel blindsided when Libra finally expresses frustration. But the frustration is not sudden, it is cumulative. Libra's people-pleasing creates a dangerous emotional backlog, a reservoir of unspoken needs that fills slowly, invisibly, until it overflows. Avoidance of emotional heaviness is another deeply human shadow within Libra. They fear intense emotional storms because such storms disrupt the harmony they cherish. When conversations shift into deeper, heavier territory, trauma, resentment, existential fears, long-standing conflicts, Libra may pull back behind a mask of composure. They appear calm, rational, even serene, but internally they may be overwhelmed by the intensity. Their partner may interpret this stillness as indifference or emotional distance, unaware that Libra is retreating not out of detachment, but out of fear that engaging too deeply could create damage they cannot repair. They worry about saying the wrong thing, triggering hurt, escalating tension, or failing to offer the right kind of comfort. So they withdraw into thoughtfulness, into silence, into the illusion of calm. But this avoidance leaves their partner feeling shut out, wondering why the person who is usually so open and tender has suddenly retreated behind an emotional veil. Libra's composure is often mistaken for strength when, in truth, it is a shield designed to keep the emotional balance from collapsing. Idealization is perhaps the most poetic, and most painful, shadow Libra brings into marriage. In the early stages of love, Libra sees their partner through a luminous filter, noticing every kindness, every spark of intelligence, every charming detail. They build a mental portrait infused with admiration and romantic expectation. They imagine a life of emotional symmetry, of mutual understanding, of constant tenderness. They believe in beauty with such sincerity that it feels sacred. But eventually, reality asserts itself. The partner is human, flawed, inconsistent, moody, distracted, imperfect. Not disappointing, but real. And in that moment, Libra's heart experiences a quiet, private loss. Not the loss of the partner, but the loss of the idealized image they created. This disappointment is subtle but profound. They grieve internally, adjusting their expectations, rebalancing their emotional palette, learning to love the real person rather than the dream. If unspoken, this grief may lead to emotional withdrawal or confusion, especially if Libra feels guilty for wanting the ideal back. These shadows, though challenging, are not deal breakers, far from it. They are simply the undercurrents of a personality built on sensitivity, fairness, aesthetic intelligence, and emotional refinement. Every shadow stems from a virtue: indecisiveness from a desire to do no harm, people-pleasing from empathy, avoidance from a longing for peace, idealization from purity of heart. Libra's flaws are not destructive forces, they are gentle vulnerabilities that need to be understood and met with compassion. When addressed with awareness, communication, and mutual patience, these traits become manageable, even meaningful. A patient partner helps Libra express needs before they become emotional weight. A perceptive partner encourages Libra to face difficult topics without fear. A grounded partner supports decision-making with reassurance rather than pressure. And a loving partner accepts the transition from idealized love to real love as a natural, beautiful evolution. Libra as a lifelong partner, the beauty they build over time. Marriage with a Libra is not a destination, it is an ever-evolving landscape of tenderness, intention, and emotional refinement. To commit to a Libra is to embark on a long, beautifully constructed journey where each year adds a new layer of depth, a new shade of understanding, a new rhythm to the dance you share. Libras do not simply stay married, they grow into marriage with the same slow, deliberate grace with which an artist grows into their life's signature style. They transform from romantic idealists into devoted, emotionally intelligent partners who understand that the beauty of a lifelong bond is not in its perfection, but in its resilience, in the quiet ability to return to balance after every storm, every misstep, every human flaw. In the early years of a relationship, Libra brings luminosity, those soft, golden moments that feel like the opening of a novel you never want to end. They remember every detail of the love you share, the scent of the season when you first moved in together, the music playing during the first argument you resolved well, the way your hand felt the first time they realized you were home to them. Over time, these memories become emotional architecture, a foundation they draw strength from. While others may forget anniversaries or treat them as routine obligations, Libra remembers not only the dates but the textures. The softness of the morning light that day, the laughter that spilled into the evening, the quiet conversation you had that became an anchor in your bond. They remember not simply what happened, but how it felt, because to Libra, the emotional resonance of a moment is its true significance. As the relationship deepens, something gentle but undeniable happens inside Libra. They begin to exchange their youthful idealism for a wiser, steadier form of love. They learn that marriage is not a constant state of harmony but a dynamic equilibrium, one that requires continual attention, willingness to recalibrate, and the courage to face discomfort rather than avoid it. The Libra who once feared conflict slowly becomes a partner who understands that honesty is a form of care, that speaking truth is not an act of aggression but an act of trust. They become braver in expressing needs, clearer in articulating desires, and more secure in the understanding that vulnerability does not break harmony, it strengthens it. Libra ages gracefully inside marriage because they learn the art of partnership as they go. They become more patient, less reactive to small imperfections, more attuned to the ebb and flow of their partner's moods, and more accepting of the fact that every relationship has seasons. They begin to understand that love is not measured by the absence of frustration, but by the willingness to face frustration together. They stop seeing conflicts as failures and start seeing them as invitations to repair, reconnect, and rediscover each other. They no longer rush to smooth over tension with premature harmony. Instead, they give space for truth to breathe, for their partner's needs to be fully expressed, for their own inner world to be seen clearly rather than filtered through diplomacy. In this evolution, Libra becomes not just a lover, but a wise companion. They learn the subtle balance between giving and receiving. They understand when to support and when to step back, when to comfort and when to challenge, when to hold space and when to ask for it. They begin to see their partner not as someone who must be perfect to preserve harmony, but as a beautifully flawed human being whose imperfections add texture, honesty, and authenticity to the marriage. Libra comes to love these imperfections, not with resignation, but with appreciation, recognizing that the very things that make their partner human also make the relationship real. A lifelong marriage with a Libra never stagnates because Libra refuses to let love become static. They believe deeply, almost spiritually, in the idea that relationships must be tended to like living gardens, watered with affection, pruned through communication, renewed through shared experiences, nourished through empathy. They bring creativity into the relationship, reinventing traditions, introducing new rituals, finding new ways to express affection, and ensuring that the flame between you burns not with dramatic intensity, but with steady warmth. They grow not only with their partner but because of their partner, allowing the relationship to sculpt them into a more grounded, empathetic, and emotionally generous version of themselves. And this is the secret to Libra's longevity in love. They do not depend on passion alone. They build something far more sustainable: balance, patience, reciprocity, emotional grace. Their love matures like aged wine, gaining complexity without losing softness. They become the partner who listens deeply, who forgives readily but not foolishly, who sees the bigger picture during moments of tension, who holds on to hope even during the harder seasons, and who cherishes the connection with a kind of reverence that feels almost spiritual. By the later stages of the relationship, Libra's presence becomes both grounding and elevating. They are no longer striving for perfect harmony. They are cultivating a deeper understanding of shared humanity. They know that beauty in marriage is not found in flawless days but in the quiet endurance of the imperfect ones. They know that love is upheld not by constant agreement, but by the willingness to return to each other after disagreement. They know that true intimacy is not created by idealized fantasies but by years of shared experience, emotional generosity, and mutual growth. The greatest gift Libra offers over a lifetime is their unwavering belief that love, when treated with care, can remain soft, fair, and beautiful, even after decades. They offer a kind of hope that does not fade with age. They offer a partnership that evolves rather than erodes. They offer a love that becomes more refined, more thoughtful, more spacious with time. Their commitment is not fueled by obligation, but by a daily choice to nurture the bond, to honor the shared life, to keep the emotional atmosphere warm and inviting. In the end, Libra becomes the kind of lifelong partner who understands that beauty in marriage is not something you stumble upon. It is something you build, moment by moment, with intention, tenderness, patience, and the belief that two people can continue rediscovering each other no matter how many years pass. With Libra, the journey never ends, it only deepens. Their love remains a quiet, enduring promise, one that whispers through the decades that a home built on balance, kindness, and devotion can indeed stay beautiful for a lifetime.